Well, good evening, Patriots. Good evening, everybody. It's Scott here from Woke Societies. Man, it feels like ages. Took yesterday off, had a great Labor Day weekend. How's everyone doing out there tonight? Feels like I haven't done this in weeks. Look forward to it every Tuesday night, 8 o'clock Eastern. You will see me, Scott, from the Woke Society's YouTube channel, doing the live stream here every week. So thank you for everyone that's already here. And we already got a big crowd coming in. And thank you to the mods that are out here tonight. I know we're a little bit short-staffed, but hey, people gotta live lives too, right? So, ladies and gentlemen, we're gonna be getting into some dark stuff tonight. I'm seeing a lot of writing on the wall, and I want to get everybody on the same page of what I'm researching and what I'm seeing. And looks like there may be some type of a coup. Maybe it's not going to happen. Maybe it will. I don't know. But the media, big tech, so many are getting the public softened up to the idea that it could happen. A military coup could happen. They're going to drag Trump out of the White House. A lot of stuff we got to talk about tonight. We're going to be diving deep. We're going to be talking about Operation Paperclip, the new Coup drops, and of course, looking at the Joe Biden campaign, how much of a joke that it is. So we got plenty to talk about tonight. So thank you guys for joining. We're almost getting close to 8,000 viewers. That'd be great. 800 viewers already. And again, thank you so much for the mods pouring in already. Thank you so much. Suki, thank you so much for joining here. I don't know if you were planning on watching me tonight, but thank you for coming in here. Let me know where you're all from. Let me know how you're feeling tonight on a Tuesday night. We are less than 2 months away from this insane campaign that we're watching. Less than 2 months away. Less than 2 months. And hopefully after that 2 months, ladies and gentlemen, things are going to start calming down, but I don't know. After tonight, I don't know where it's going to leave you guys. I don't know if it's going to leave you with encouragement or fear, but I promise I'll walk you guys off the ledge. I promise. Yes, so many. So while I have you all here, we're live streaming on Periscope, DLive, YouTube, Twitch, and we're also streaming on Pilled, a brand new uncensored platform. So we're on 5 different platforms right now, which is fantastic. It's growing and we're doing great. But tonight, ladies and gentlemen, we're bringing it back. My favorite sponsor, we're bringing back Flip City Magazine. And I have their latest issue right here. This is the latest issue, but in a few weeks, ladies and gentlemen, they're going to have their new issue out. But right now, you can still get this issue. This is Flip City Magazine, America's Last Laugh, a comedy satire magazine made by 2 beautiful people out in California who are completely independent. And guys, they just make a beautiful product. It's hilarious. It's Mad Magazine on steroids, and the best part, it is PC free. You can't get much better than that. And the latest issue, you're going to have an article like this right here. Top 4 emerging mental illnesses. Chronopositional defiant syndrome. This sufferer believes that tearing down statues and burning books is the best way to ensure that nothing bad ever happens again for the rest of time, characterized by an obsessive hatred for people who have been dead for 100 years or more. So when you guys see here, this is the price that you're going to get. It's a beautiful price. It is 4 issues. Get 1 issue per quarter. That breaks down to $5 a magazine for a full year subscription. We are not breaking your wallet to do that. And where do you go to do this? You go right here to flipcitymag.com. You go to the subscription link right here, and there it is. You can buy the full year subscription or a single issue, but guys, it's worth the $5 a magazine to do the full year subscription. It's a top quality product made by 2 Patriots, again, American made product, and it's absolutely hilarious. And the best part, they ship international, so everyone in the world can laugh with us at the people we talk about on this channel and in their magazine. And remember, when you support my sponsors, you support this channel. You guys are great. So everyone's here now. Everyone's coming in still. So thank you guys. Where I want to start off today, as I always do, there's a lot of Trump signs, a lot of Trump flags I see around this area and just in general. I don't really see Joe Biden flags. I've seen maybe one this entire year. And it was on some back dead end side road that I was looking down when I was driving one day. That was it. But the problem is we are seeing people vandalize people's signs. And I'm going to recommend that you don't do it. And after you watch this video, you're going to see why you should not be, especially vandalizing, but urinating on someone's Trump sign, it's going to piss somebody off. So this video that I'm going to show you does have a little bit of language, so just a fair warning. But after this video, I promise you'll laugh, and we'll see you on the other side of the intro. Take a watch.
If someone's messing with your Trump signs. Oh, shit.
Dude, what the fuck? Yeah. Fuck out of here.
What the fuck? You see him running?
Trump 2020, baby.
Thanks for tuning in to the land of the real. But it's like the Twilight Zone, the plan is surreal. It'll blow your mind when the plan is revealed. Bring it all to light, all the plans they conceal. Grab your flashlight, it's time to go down the rabbit hole. It's dark and hell is hot, dealing with satanic souls. The tide is turning, patriots are now in control. Apply aggressive pressure right now until they fold. Stay woke, open up your eyes and keep them peeled. All they do is lie, realize not everything is real. The project looking glass, the future is revealed. Future proves past, but there won't be any deals. Woke society's fam, you know it's time to go. Grab your popcorn, sit back now, enjoy the show. Severe and non on the mic, so come on, enjoy the flow. The wave is rising and you know it's only gonna grow.
All right. Guys, I'm feeling good tonight. Feeling good. We got a lot to talk about, and I cannot wait to dive into it. I've been waiting all day to do this with you guys, so I really appreciate it. We're already at 1,300 viewers. We just started. Maybe we can break 3,000 tonight. That's my goal. Hit that like button, share, subscribe. Let everyone know we are the news now. All right, let's do this. Let's do this. Hey, the effing doctor. What's up, my friend? Good to see you here, buddy. All right, so where I want to start off tonight is we're going to talk about Kamala Harris and the Joe Biden campaign just for a brief moment. And then we're going to dive into this coup stuff that I'm seeing because it's dark and heavy. But where I want to start here is from the Breitbart article talking about Kamala Harris here. Kamala Harris meeting meeting Jacob Blake's family. She says they're an incredible family. Senator Kamala Harris told reporters on Monday after meeting with the family of Jacob Blake Jr. in Milwaukee, Wisconsin, they're an incredible family. Jacob Blake Jr. was severely wounded in a confrontation with Kenosha, Wisconsin police on August 23rd. He had an outstanding warrant for sexual assault and other charges, and police responded to his 911 call, which we saw what happened. Harris met with the members of the family and spoke to Jacob Blake Jr. by telephone as he recovered in the hospital. It was not clear precisely which family members she met. Now, as far as I know, ladies and gentlemen, we know the real story here on Woke Societies, what happened with Jacob Blake. And you wouldn't know if you were watching TV, especially if you're watching sports right now. People have been defending Jacob Blake still to this day. And the fact that we know what he did as far as raping an underage girl and what he was actually doing at the house. He was not supposed to be at the house he was at. There was a whole entire story that is not talked about by the mainstream media at all of the events that led up to the video that we saw, because everything else was edited out before the cop shot him 7 times. They didn't show anything or put any other context into what happened. And they're not certainly talking about Jacob Blake's prior criminal history. But you know what? We're going to be seeing his name on the back of helmets, on the back of jerseys, but this is 2020. You're going to have a rapist's name on the back of your jersey and helmet nowadays because everybody wants to be so woke. But the crazy thing here is the future vice president here is saying that this family, Jacob Blake's family itself, is an incredible family. And it just makes you kind of think how ass backwards everything is right now. And here, this was something she also said to Jacob Blake today, that she is also very, very proud of him. Senator Harris had an inspirational, uplifting 1-hour visit with Jacob Blake Jr. and his family today. She spoke individually with each family member about how they were handling the trauma and urged them to take care of the physical and mental health. Now, again, we don't know what family members that Kamala spoke to, and all we know is that the father is extremely anti-Semitic and Jacob Blake's a rapist. So maybe the other family members are a little bit better. Well, I don't really know, but we don't know who she spoke to. But either way, she said they are an incredible family. In a moving moment, Jacob Jr. told Senator Harris that he was proud of her, and the senator told Jacob that she was also proud of him and how he was working through his pain. Jacob Jr. assured her that he was not going to give up on life for the sake of his children. Senator Harris also discussed the policy change that she and Vice President Biden will seek. Blah, 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 blah. The one thing I don't see in any of this is even as a woman for Kamala Harris, any kind of notion, any kind of olive branch to the woman that suffered. Everyone in the Dems and the Libs are all about the Me Too movement. They're all about women's rights and all these other things. And we have no olive branch from Kamala Harris to the woman or the young girl that was raped. Nothing. And it's funny because we saw the same thing with Tara Reade with Joe Biden. Everyone knows what happened to Tara Reade with Joe Biden, but there is nothing there to talk about with Kamala Harris, except that a rapist and the family of this rapist, they're an incredible family and he's a great person. This could potentially be the future vice president. It's not going to happen because Trump is going to win the re-election, but this is who we're dealing with. And even worse, yesterday, Kamala Harris was on a campaign tour. And as far as I know, wherever she dropped yesterday when she got off the plane, I saw reports that literally not one person was there waiting for her to get in to whatever backdoor factory, elementary school gym that they were in this time. It was just Kamala Harris. It wasn't Joe Biden. But this weird, awkward video here is the end of whatever they're talking about. And again, there is no questions to be asked from the media. Take a watch.
Very honored, proud, and lucky to have Senator and soon-to-be Vice President Harris with us today. And I will pass it back over to you because I know you want to take some questions before you get out of here.
Oh, we're all set.
Thank you, Paul.
Thank you, Paul.
We're all set. Thank you.
Thank
you, Paul. We're going to head out the same way we came.
I once
Thank
lived in Wisconsin. Do you know that? I did, yes.
Thank you, guys.
So why Wisconsin is part of my story.
Thank you, Paul. We're going to head out the same door. Thank you. We're all set. Thank you. Thank you. We are all set. There is no. This guy was ready to have her answer some questions, and whoever the PR person, campaign manager, is like, "Thank you, Paul. Thank you. We're all done now. We're done here." And she's blathering about whatever she's talking about in Wisconsin, and she gets up and she goes to exit the same way that she came out, back onto the sorry ass plane that she came in on, back to wherever Joe Biden and her are going to continue to campaign, if you even want to call it that. But both of them refuse to answer any questions, and yet we see on a daily basis the media ask Trump some of the dumbest, most irrelevant questions, and they get literally nothing. They get nothing. They don't want questions. They don't want any of that. They don't want anything to do with that. And it's just really sad to see. But when you see what Joe Biden does on a daily basis, you can kind of see exactly why they're doing this. And yet, example number 2,587 of why Joe Biden shouldn't be talking was from today. My boy Method's here on the clip talking about how Biden here is saying Trump is the one that's demanding defunding the police. If you think this is crazy, it's not. Listen to what this man just said.
The only person calling to defund the police is Donald Trump. Look at his budget. He calls for cutting police funding for state and local help by $400 million. Once again, he's pathological. The only person calling.
This is a forehead. This is a palm slap. This is like next level. Either you're just a liar or you're just crazy. When you have the New York Police Department, the union, who has never endorsed a president in their history, endorses Trump, and the many other examples of how Trump has said, back the blue, we care about our police, they want funding for the police. You have this man here saying the only one that's calling for defunding the police is Donald Trump. Who is writing these lines for him? Who is writing this and who is eating this up? There must be some of the lefty base left, the Democratic base, that will just refuse to vote for Trump and eat this up. But it's so ass backwards at this point. It's really, I don't even know what to say about it anymore. Literally, I sell merchandise that says, all for the police, defending the police. You think I would support a president that would be also saying defund the police? Absolutely not. And that's exactly, we know Trump hasn't been doing that. He's been a longtime supporter of police and military, which we're going to get into tonight. But there was really someone that was funny, and people have mixed opinions on this guy, but somebody described Joe Biden perfectly, and Donald Trump retweeted it today. And that man is Joe Rogan. Everybody knows him. I'm going to play this 13-second clip because he describes Joe Biden perfectly in 13 seconds. Take a listen.
Biden to me is like having a flashlight with a dying battery and going for a long hike in the woods. It is not going to work out. It's not going to make it. Biden to me is like having a flashlight with a dying battery and going for a long hike in the woods. It is not going to work out. It's not going to make it.
Joe Biden is just going to walk out into the woods with almost a dead flashlight, and he's just going to walk out there and just disappear. Like, what is he going to do? Now, again, I know people have mixed opinions on Joe Rogan. It is what it is. He's hilarious sometimes, and some of the ways he describes things are really, really funny. But it's so true. It's so true, and we're just seeing every single day, we're just waiting for a new soundbite from Joe Biden and what he's going to just word vomit out of his face. So that's where we have. That's where we ended up today as far as the Biden campaign. The Biden saying Trump wants to defund the police, which is the most ass-backwards thing he could probably have said since he started, besides the hairy legs and the children and the way he smells women. So that is that. So let's transition here to the meat of the episode, this coming coup that I can see forming. I can see the media getting everyone, the public, ready for this and implanting ideas and getting ahead of the narrative and the narrative they want to push. And where we're going to be hanging around here for a little bit is from this article here from Zero Hedge, and they called it the coming coup, and this came out 2 days ago. As if 2020 were not insane enough already, we now have Democrats and their ruling class masters openly talking about staging a coup. You might have missed it. What with the riots, lockdowns, and other daily mayhem we're forced to endure in this, the most wretched year of my lifetime, but it's happening. It started with the military brass quietly indicating that the troops should not follow a presidential order. They were bolstered by many former generals, including President Trump's own Secretary of Defense. Now, we talked about the military possibly coming in and taking Trump out, I think about a month or two ago, and it was on this channel. And we were talking about General Mattis and how much he came out in complete, just denying Trump, can't stand Trump, saying he's unfit, the military can't stand him. And we got a little bit of a taste of what this military coup could look like. But now it seems like we're in full swing. And just to give you an example of the articles that I'm seeing coming out now, this one just came out yesterday. Can military commanders refuse an order for Trump? And it goes into this whole narrative here in this article. It's not even worth reading because it's CNN, and I almost never have CNN articles on this channel. But they go into this idea that if Trump were to give an order to the military generals, and if they just don't want to go with it, can they refuse it from him? And technically they could, but again, that would be called treason. But we're starting to see this. So let's go back to Zero Hedge here. They stated openly what the brass would only hint at. Then as nationwide riots really got rolling in early June, the sitting Secretary of Defense himself all but publicly told the president not to invoke the Insurrection Act. His implicit message was, Mr. President, don't tell us to do that because we won't. And you know what happens after that. That sounds like a threat to me. And all this enthused Joe Biden, who threw subtly to the winds. The former United States Senator of 26 years and Vice President for 8 has not once, not twice, but thrice confidently asserted that the military will, and this is his quote, escort Trump from the White House with great dispatch should the president refuse to leave. Another former Vice President, Al Gore, publicly agreed. So they're already talking about if Trump, if for whatever reason the ballots don't come in his favor and he's just refusing to leave, they are already planning on dragging him out of the White House. They're already getting this language and this rhetoric already ramped up, and it's very concerning. One might dismiss such comments as the ravings of a dementia patient and has been who never got over his own electoral loss. But before you do, consider also this. Over the summer, a story was deliberately leaked to the press of a meeting at which 100 Democratic grandees, anti-Trump former Republicans, and other ruling class Partachiks got together on George Soros' dime to game out various outcomes of the 2020 election. Now, I didn't see this report till today. I haven't seen anyone else talk about this report. There might have been some that were out there. But some of the people here, we'll get to the report in just a second. The people that were on here, this committee of trying to figure out all these scenarios if Trump wins and loses and the best way to peacefully transition power. Look at the people that are a part of this. This is from the Washington Post. On the GOP side, our players included former Republican National Committee Chairman Michael Steele, conservative commentator Bill Kristol, and former Kentucky Secretary of State Trey Grayson. On the Democratic side, first one off the bat, everyone should know this name. Participants included John Podesta. The infamous John Podesta, the chair of Hillary Clinton's 2016 presidential campaign, and infamous in the WikiLeaks emails, and a top White House advisor to Bill Clinton and Barack Obama, Donna Brazile, the campaign chair for Al Gore's 2000 presidential run, and Jennifer Granholm, a former governor of Michigan. Other participants included political strategists, journalists, polling experts, tech and social media experts, and former career officials from the intelligence community, the Justice Department, the military, and the Department of Homeland Security. Now, I'm relatively new to politics, ladies and gentlemen. I don't remember any of this happening. And they can say it's maybe because of COVID and everything surrounding the mail-in ballots, and that this is just one of those years that it's going to be out of the norm for things to happen. And what we're seeing here is a mass amount of people and a mass effort here of people coming together to figure out all these plans and all these scenarios of what's going to happen if Trump does not leave the White House and all the things they want to do to get through to this, man. This is what they're planning. And again, when you see people like John Podesta in the middle of all this, it immediately just rings out red flags. Now, coming back to the Zero Hedge article here, says one such outcome was a clear Trump win. In that eventuality, former Bill Clinton White House Chief of Staff John Podesta, he was actually playing the role of Biden, refused to concede, pressured states that Trump won to send Democrats to the former Electoral College vote, and trusted that the military would take care of the rest. So they're already planning. John Podesta was pretty much pretending to be Joe Biden, and he refused to concede, and one of their ideas was to pressure the states that Trump won, send Democrat officials out there with military to double check the ballots, and the rest of it would take care of itself from there. Look at the language these people are losing. This is scary stuff. These are the things they're talking about, and it gets worse. The leaked report from the exercise darkly concluded that technocratic solutions, courts, and reliance on elites observing norms are not the answer here, promising that what would follow the November election would be a street fight and not a legal battle. Now, this report here, this report I'm about to show you, these are the scenarios they were playing out, and they're called, the Preventing a Disrupted Presidential Election and Transition. This came out August 3rd, 2020, a little more than a month ago. And look at what they were trying, look at the scenarios they were playing out here. The concept of election night is no longer accurate and indeed is dangerous. We face a period of consternation stretching from the first day a ballot is cast in mid-September until January 20th. They're talking about possibly dragging these scenarios, this election, the results, maybe into January of 2021. And it's right here. The second one right here, a determined campaign has opportunity to contest the election into January 2021. Look at the scenarios they're playing out. There's the next one. The administration transition process itself may be highly disrupted. Plan for a contested election. Focus on readiness in the states, providing political support for a complete and accurate count. Address the two biggest threats head on: lies about voter fraud, because the Dems still think it's a myth that voter fraud and mail-in ballots, it's you can't do it. It's nothing bad. Mail-in ballots are totally safe. So they want to fight against this narrative: lies about voter fraud and escalating violence, aka the riots, and anticipate a rocky administrative transition. And this report goes on for pages, ladies and gentlemen, for pages. But the ones I just read to you, are these scenarios, and the Dems, rhinos, Homeland Security, and some military personnel have already come together in this huge think tank to come up with the ways and all the scenarios if Trump loses and wins. And this is what they're talking about. They're already setting the stage to cheat. We already talked about how we said Trump is projected to win by a landslide on election night, but the Dems will not concede, and they're going to drag this out weeks, and they even said possibly months now. And they said it could go into January of 2021 if that's what it takes. This is how serious this is. I've never seen this report. I just saw it today, and now you guys saw it for the first time. And last thing here, 2 more data points among several that could be provided. Over the summer, 2 former Army officers, both prominent in the Democrat-aligned national security think tank world, wrote an open letter to the chairman of the Joint Chiefs in which they urged him to deploy the 82nd Airborne Division to drag the President Trump from the Oval Office at precisely 12:01 January 20th, 2021. And part of this letter was right here. We do not live in ordinary times. These are from the 2 officers that are aligned with the Democrats. The President of the United States is actively subverting our electoral college, threatening to remain in office in defiance of our Constitution. In a few months' time, you may have to choose between defying a lawless president or betraying your constitutional oath. We write to assist you in thinking clearly about that choice. If Donald Trump refuses to leave office at the expiration of his constitutional term, the United States military must remove him by force, and you must give that order. And this letter down here, written by John Nagel and Paul Yingling, one's Army Lieutenant Colonel and retired Army officer and veteran of Iraq wars, both of them. These people are already talking about dragging him physically and forcefully out of the White House the moment that his time is up if Trump just acts like the crybaby that they think he is and he's just not going to leave, which isn't the case at all. But this is the language that they're using. This is scary stuff. And last thing on this article. So why are the Democrats publicly talking about the conspiracy? Because they know that for it to succeed, it must not look like a conspiracy. They need to plant the idea in the public mind now that their unlawful and illegitimate removal of President Trump from office will somehow be his fault. Never mind the pesky detail that the president would refuse to leave only if he were convinced he legitimately won. Remember, Biden should not concede under any circumstances, and Hillary Clinton was already on video, and I showed it on this channel of her saying that to Joe Biden. And last, stop the presses. What then? The Podesta assumption is that the military will side with the Dems. There are reasons to fear they might. The Obama administration spent a great deal of political capital purging the officer corps of anyone not down with the program and promoting only those who are. That is a scary statement, and Podesta apparently and a lot of the Dems are very confident that the military will back them up if something out of the ordinary goes down. That is some scary stuff to think about. And again, this is talking about the military taking sides. Very scary stuff. We're going to get into the second half in just a moment here. Let me hop over to the chat. We're at 2826 already, guys. Keep sharing the episode. Hit that like button. We're going to break 3,000 tonight. We're going to push. We haven't broke 3,000 in probably, I think, 2 months now. We're going to break it. Share and like. Make that thumb blue. Tell your friends and family. Let's get that up to 3,000 viewers, guys. That'd be great. So, can you guys start to see how the groundwork is being set here? We saw the Atlantic article smear Trump saying that he called World War I vets losers, and also Vietnam vets losers, something along the line, just completely smearing him. We're already seeing the smear campaign start. But what's crazy here is it's not just the military, and we're going to get to the military in just a moment, but I'm also seeing it from big tech and social media. Facebook CEO Zuckerberg. You know what? Let's just play and hear from it first. Listen to what he said. Now, remember, if you guys saw him in front of Congress, he said he is not going to be the arbiter of truth and that they have a fair platform. And you guys just heard what I read from the Zero Hedge article and what the Dems and this think tank were already planning on doing. They're already planning on dragging this out for weeks, if not months, if they have to. Look at the message that's aligning here from Mark Zuckerberg, the CEO of Facebook. Take a listen.
One of the things that I think we and other media need to start doing is preparing the American people that there's nothing illegitimate about this election taking additional days or even weeks to make sure that all of the votes are counted. In fact, that might be important to make sure that this is a legitimate and fair election. So we're going to do a bunch of different messaging around that just to make sure that people know that that's normal. So if one of the candidates in any of the races claims victory before there's a consensus result, then we're going to add some informational context to that post directly, saying that there's no consensus result yet.
Mark Zuckerberg literally just said, we are going to take ourselves and put ourselves directly in front of the public, and we are going to be the gatekeepers of, we're going to decide whether the election is up or not. We are, Facebook is, and so are the other social media giants. They're going to put context and other information to make sure the people aren't swayed, to make sure they're not being lied to for a legitimate election. Do you see how sick and crazy this is? Where he's literally saying it's totally normal for this to drag out days or weeks if it has to. We want to make sure the public, we want to make sure we're infusing this idea that this is normal, that this is okay. So when Trump landslides on election night, we're not going to allow that. We're going to be putting context out there to let everyone know that the election's not up yet, despite what the numbers say. We're going to wait for all these mail-in ballots to somehow pop up. And now we're going to be the ones to say, now the election's over. They are Facebook. And who put Facebook in charge of this? Who put big tech as the arbiters of truth? The same thing that Zuckerberg said he is not going to be. They are all aligning the message, and you can see it coming from a mile away. That was big tech. And the big thing that happened today or yesterday that I saw a lot, Trump was calling out the military industrial complex. And that is something we really haven't talked so much about on this channel. When I talked about the military industrial complex, it's more with the UFOs and Project Looking Glass and all the technology. I have covered that on my channel earlier days, and I haven't really touched it because it's an election year. But Trump was going after the military industrial complex yesterday, and it set off this entire range of emotions from all these talking heads and pundits, and it turned into more rhetoric from the mainstream media. Look how disrespectful Trump is to veterans, to people in the military. Look how disrespectful this is, and he called them out. Specifically because he's calling past generals, past upper-ups in the military, people in the Pentagon, saying pretty much, I'm not for war. They are. They will do whatever they can to be at war because guess what? War is money. So this is what we saw yesterday. Donald Trump Jr., if you want to end the endless wars immediately, put a permanent moratorium on retired generals serving on the boards of defense contractors. We would be out of Afghanistan by Wednesday. And this is a retweet of Cernovich here. It says, how dare Trump claim that the Pentagon is staffed with future generals seeking big cash working for defense? And just look at these articles here. There's General Mattis, that piece of shit here, rejoining General Dynamics Board of Directors. Just retired USAF head honcho joins board of defense contractor. Lockheed adds Dunford, former top U.S. military officer, to board. Retired U.S. Marine General joins Boeing board. And the funny thing is, a little bit off topic, a lot of those companies that I just listed, they have access to this highly advanced technology and some of the UFO technology that's been out for decades. That's just a side note. These generals are going to these places to obviously be paid lots of money to be on these boards, but if the technology of war is not being used, if these companies are not implementing the technology they're building, then what is it good for? There's no money being made. So what exactly did Trump say when he called these people out? I have the clip here, and you're going to see it. You're going to see it, and then I'm going to show you the reaction to what he said. Again, it's gotten twisted and manipulated so much. You'll see right here. Take a watch.
With him, he's right on tape, and you don't want to cover it. You should be ashamed of yourselves. The press should be ashamed of themselves. With Biden, shipped away our jobs, threw open our borders, and sent our youth to fight in these crazy, endless wars. And it's one of the reasons the military, I'm not saying the military is in love with me, the soldiers are. The top people in the Pentagon probably aren't, because they want to do nothing but fight wars so that all of those wonderful companies that make the bombs and make the planes and make everything else stay happy.
You just heard what he said. The soldiers love me, but the top people, especially in the Pentagon, the ones that are on these boards with these companies that make the bombs, the planes, the tanks, they don't like me. They don't like me. Everything else stays happy. That was the end of the quote. That's what he's talking about. He says the soldiers love me, but the upper-ups, the ones I just listed off before this, I played this clip, they don't like me. Because again, it's all about the money. Look at all the wars. Remember the weapons of mass destruction? I remember that growing up. I remember that, and years they were looking for them, and I remember them finding literally zero, nothing. I remember that, and I remember a bunch of my friends going off to Iraq and fighting in these endless wars, some of them dying. I remember that. And when was it going to end? It ended when Trump stepped in. ISIS gone. Troops coming home from Afghanistan, from Europe. Remember Trump, the warmonger? Trump was going to get us into a nuclear war with North Korea. Remember Trump, the warmonger? We were seeing World War III with Iran. Remember all that in the beginning of the year? What happened to that? Trump has been ushering in peace. And the military-industrial complex does not like that one bit. Cannot stand it. It's not making money for them. And who do you see coming out against Trump the most when the media heads talk about the military in general does not like Trump? No, it's the top brass. It's the ones in the Pentagon, the ones that work for these companies. Boeing. All these, the ones I just listed for you. That's what's going on here. And it's really sickening to see this. And of course, Joe Scarborough here, it just makes me laugh. This is such a deeply ignorant and insulting view of American military leadership. From Dwight Eisenhower to Colin Powell, it has been our military leaders familiar with the hell of war who have hated it the most. And the funny thing is, Joe Scarborough brought up was Dwight Eisenhower. And the fact that he even said Dwight Eisenhower is one of the people here that know the hell of war. War is hell. They're saying Trump is the first one to even go this route, which is not true. And the funny thing is, I actually had the clip of Dwight Eisenhower's famous speech talking about the military industrial complex right here.
We must guard against the acquisition of unwarranted influence, whether sought or unsought, by the military industrial complex.
That's a 16-minute speach. That's a 16-minute speech. And Dwight Eisenhower, I think he's the first one to call out the military industrial complex. But this isn't the first time. Trump's now doing it, and they're saying, look at this disgusting American military, disgusting act of leadership as the president to be in front of the military. What? What are you talking about? Did Joe Scarborough even know that Dwight Eisenhower denounced the MIC back in the day? But yet he quoted him here in a tweet. Do you see how stupid these people are? Stupid. Absolutely stupid. And the worst part about it, after all this is said and done, the whole entire Atlantic story, so many people of ambassadors have now come out and said the whole story of him calling vets losers is completely debunked. And the worst part about it here is the last one that came out to defend Trump here was another person in the room. This is now 8 people to defend Trump that were in this room. France denies, U.S. Ambassador to France denies Atlantic story, says Trump has never denigrated any member of the U.S. military. And the quote here, you can put me on record denying that I spoke with the Atlantic, Fuentes said on Monday. I don't know who the sources are. This again, the Atlantic based their story on nothing but anonymous sources smearing Trump. I did not hear Post call anyone losers when I told him about the weather. Honestly, do you think General Kelly would have stood by and let anyone call fallen Marines losers? Have some context. When Trump was in this room deciding not to go to France to go honor these soldiers because of weather, which we saw the emails providing that was the reason why it was canceled, not because Trump didn't want to mess his hair up. Do you think Trump would honestly say in front of a military general that Marines, fallen Marines are losers? And this new narrative now, oh, why would journalists put their jobs on the line? As if we're stupid already to believe that the journalism they're already doing is nothing but nonsense. But yes, it's just, it blows my mind seeing all this stuff. It really, really does. But I do know Trump loves our vets. He's done everything for our veterans. He's bringing soldiers home. He has completely revamped the military. I remember when Obama was in office, people always complaining that we're in the military, how far gone it just was allowed to go to the wayside. I've heard that from so many friends that were in the military. But the one thing I do know is there is a video here that I'm going to show you guys. And I know this is something Trump would never do. And unfortunately for Joe Biden, he did this on camera and this video went viral. If you guys haven't seen this yet, this is a video that went, this was out about a month ago and I think I played it, but I'm going to play it again here. Senator Ron Paul tweeted this out. This has 3 million views. Great question from an Air Force veteran. If you hate war, you can't agree with Biden's decades of support for intervention in war. Time to bring even more troops home. Watch this video.
I'm an Air Force veteran here with Army veterans. We're just wondering why we should vote for someone who voted for a war and kill thousands of our brothers and sisters. Countless Iraqis. You enabled that war. You also gave a medal to a man who enabled that war and caused that war. Your blood is on your hands as well. And you're disqualified. You're disqualified. My friends are dead. So is my son. So is my son who was in Iraq. Okay? For years. That doesn't matter, right? You don't think it matters to me. It matters a lot to me. I'm sure it does. I'm sure it does. Okay. And I'm not going after your son. You better not. I'm not. No, I'm not going after your son. You're disqualified, sir. Disqualified. The blood is on your hands. Blood is on your hands. No. My brothers and sisters died in Iraq and Afghanistan, and he enabled that to happen. He enabled that to happen. He is disqualified. He is disqualified. No way he can be president. They are dead. Millions are dead in Iraq. He will not be allowed to be president. Disqualified. Trump is more anti-war than Joe.
Fucking bullshit. Fucking imperialist. We actually fought in your damn wars. We fought in your wars. You sent us to hurt civilians. We hurt civilians. You pushed us.
What a video. What a video. Screaming, because of him, our friends, our brothers and sisters are dead for his wars. Trump is anti-war. Why would we vote for you? And the one thing I want to point out about this video, Joe Biden mentions his son, or I don't know if it was one or two of his sons that went to the Iraq war. He drops that little personal line to this Air Force vet here. And that's where he was done with the conversation. And he even said, he's like, I'm not talking about your son. I'm talking about you. Your policies made this happen. And the worst part about Joe Biden, what does he do? He turns his back on a veteran. And I tweeted this out a couple days ago. One thing you will never, ever see Trump do is turn his back on a veteran. Could you ever see Trump doing that? And the worst part is the guy that was filming it is obviously with this United States Marine. You have them yelling, Joe, 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 Joe. These two people screaming into this mob or whatever they are, whatever, it's not a mob, but whatever restaurant, whatever this was. These people sacrificed. They saw friends and family die, friends die, brothers and sisters died, and they're cheering Joe, Joe, Joe. Can you imagine how angry these people, these guys must feel? That's what got to me the most. And the ball's on Joe. He just turns his back and walks away from a veteran. They had a legitimate questions, but you know how that goes. You know how that goes. But we want to sit here and get fed the bullshit every single day by the mainstream media that Trump's a warmonger Military hates him, calls dead Marines losers. But we have on video here of an interaction with Joe Biden turning his back on a Marine. And he gets amped up, screams he's disqualified, and then he's screaming into a mob of people. Not a good look, Joe. It's not a good look. And seeing that, just, it tells you everything. Tells you everything. But good news, ladies and gentlemen. Good news from the polls. Rasmussen here saying Trump approval surges to 52%. Black voter approval jumps to 45%. A race against Joe Biden. Don't take this home with you. They're polls. But either way, Rasmussen's usually down the line. They're pretty accurate. This is why they're panicking, and this is why they're going to continue to say, we're going to drag this election out. And you want to know the worst part about it, getting back to social media a little bit? I want to play this quick video for you guys. It's 14 seconds. There was a black man here supporting the president. I want you to see what social media did to him. Take a watch.
Why?
Why you support Trump?
Because he is for what's right for America. And I love it. This is my country, and I want it back.
Yes, this is our country. We want it back. We want it back.
Yeah.
It's my country, and I want him back. So you have a black man here supporting Donald Trump. And the best part about this is Donald Trump saw this video, and he retweeted it. He retweeted it, and not even 3 hours. 3 hours goes by. You want to see what happens? Twitter account retweeted by President Donald Trump gets banned. 3 hours later. This follows a pattern of banned accounts pointing to black support for Trump. So you want to sit here and tell me that we're racist? Anybody that supports Trump is racist, but you see social media and the Democrats that have been pandering to the African American community, that they think they own them. Social media is literally blocking accounts of black men here supporting the president and suspending them within hours of a Donald Trump retweet. Does that look like a man that goes on the internet and trolls people and says disgusting things in comment sections? I highly doubt it. Highly doubt it. But you know what? He gets canceled because Trump retweeted him. There was no curse words, no sexual references, no nothing. Literally said, I'm going to be voting for Trump because it's my country and I want him back. That is enough to get you canceled in this culture in 2020 right now. And with social media, remember the non-arbiters of truth. I just want to put that out there. Let's get into the Q drops, shall we? We have 4 new Q drops, and we're going to close out the night with these. And I want to thank you guys. We broke our record. We're at 3153. That is a record in like 2 months, guys. That's all on you. You are awesome. The woke fam is strong, and I cannot appreciate you all enough. Thank you. Continue to hit that like button. We're going to get into the Q drops right now. 4635. We're going to be talking about Nazis today. Unfortunately, was the Nazi party ever truly destroyed, eradicated? No. Now, I'm not going to read this entire drop, but what I want to point out in this drop is an old one from 940. Now, look how far back Q was talking about Antifa. I'm going to see this image here on the left. You can see it. You have the Anti-Fascist Action 1933 paramilitary wing of the Communist Party of Germany flag here. This was their party. Look at the comparison to the Antifa Anti-Fascist Action flag. This is 2017 paramilitary wing of the Democratic Party of America. Look how similar they are. They're just not as wavy, and one flag is black now instead of both of them being red. Is that a coincidence? It is absolutely not. And this whole entire thread here, all this is comparing the tactics that the Nazi Germany used before World War II to get their population and Europe in general ready for their fascist takeover. And it goes all the way down here. We're not going to read all that right now, but this is what we're going to read. It was never about the virus and always about the election. Was the Nazi party ever truly destroyed, eradicated? Did the belief carry on, redeployed? Background of Soros. Now, I'm going to play this video here, guys. It's only 1 minute and 30 seconds, but it's going to get you set up for what I want to talk about with Operation Paperclip in just a moment. Take a watch. Try to get through this guy's accent. This is from The Sum of All Fears, and it's going to paint a perfect picture. Here we go.
Communism versus capitalism, and that fascism was but a hiccup. Today we know better. Communism was a fool's errand. The followers of Marx gone from this earth, but the followers of Hitler abound and thrive. Hitler, however, had one great disadvantage. He lived in a time when fascism, like a virus, like the AIDS virus, needed a strong host in order to spread. Germany was that host, but strong as it was, Germany could not prevail. The world was too big. Fortunately, the world has changed. Global communications, cable TV, the internet. Today the world is smaller. And the virus does not need a strong host in order to spread. This virus is airborne. One more thing. Let no man call us crazy. They called Hitler crazy, but Hitler wasn't crazy. He was stupid. You don't fight Russia and America. You get Russia and America to fight each other and destroy each other.
He said something there that is very true. He said Hitler wasn't crazy. He was just stupid. You don't take on Russia and America on at the same time. You make Russia and America destroy each other, and then you move in. Do you think that's something that was attempted and is still trying to go on today? Remember all this Russia hoax stuff? Imagine if Hillary had taken the reins. Do you think we'd be at war right now somewhere, either with Iran, Russia, or North Korea, or all three? Do you think? When you compare the history of what exactly Germany was doing, Nazi Germany before World War II, it's a spitting image of exactly what's going on with Antifa in this country right now, and exactly why Q keeps saying infiltration instead of invasion. And if you really thought we won World War II, we didn't. We didn't. Because after the war was over, do you know what we did? And many of you probably know this, but some of you might be actually hearing this for the first time. It's called Operation Paperclip. The Nazis didn't lose, they moved to America, and from 1945 to 55, Operation Paperclip granted nearly 1,000 German scientists, the same scientists that were in these concentration camps. 1,000 German scientists American citizenship. 1,000, and many had been longtime members of the Nazi Party and the Gestapo, and had conducted experiments on humans at concentration camps and committed other war crimes. The scientists ended up in the U.S. military-industrial complex. Wow, what a surprise. Wow, where did that word come from? Worked with the CIA, NASA, and more, Walt Disney, and many other companies, and also pharmaceutical companies. This was an all-out infiltration. One of the Nazi experiments that continued in America was mind control, known as the CIA's Project MK Ultra. And you could do plenty of digs on that and who was involved with that. But you know what we did? We essentially took them in like a sponge. We took the cream of the crop from Nazi Germany and they were infused into American culture. And it was in all commercial, all facets of society. Science, medicine, religion, infused, military-industrial complex, military. It never went away. It never went away. It was embedded and it's been slowly growing for a long time now. Let's get back to the Q drops. 4636, they're being forced into the light for all to see. And keep faith in humanity, keep faith in yourself, light of the world. They link a Q drop, a YouTube video here. They've linked music videos before, and this is exactly what it is. It's called Max Richter on the Nature of Daylight. It's a 6-minute and 14-second song of this beautiful song. I'm not going to play it, but Q's point, this is pretty straightforward. All these dark people, everything we're seeing now, they're being forced into the light. 4637, digital soldiers, hashtag fight back. And they bring an old drop here. This is 4373, talking about you're witnessing the greatest coordinated disinformation campaign to ever be launched. And Q says, digital soldiers, hashtag fight back. Loyalist, patriots, where we go one, we go all. And they link Donald Trump here. And look at the words he uses. The Democrats together with the corrupt fake news media have launched a massive disinformation campaign, the likes of which have never been seen before. Wow. Look at this. It's pretty close to what Q wrote here. Very interesting. They will say anything like their recent lies about me in the military and hope that it sticks, but MAGA gets it, and we absolutely do. And the last Q drop we're going to see, this is the most recent one today, 4638, Digital soldiers are the modern day Midnight Riders. And Anon wrote, we're kicking digital ass here. Q responded, modern day Midnight Riders, there's a reason why they're fighting hard to censor and in the kill box defame you, Q. And they're absolutely right. Q team is absolutely right. We are seeing Patriots still on social media get deplatformed off of Twitter. I've been deplatformed off of Facebook and Spotify, and we're still trucking through. Q is literally saying we are the Midnight Riders. We are the modern day Patriots. The modern day Minutemen in this revolution that we're in the midst of. We are in an information war right now, and I feel like it's just getting started, and we have little less than 2 months to go to the election. It's going to be absolutely crazy. So where I want to leave off with you guys tonight, try not to be fearful of what's going on here. Q has said multiple times to trust the plan, and we have to maintain that faith that Trump and Q team and his staff are going to have a way to make sure this election is carried out the right way. We're still waiting to hear word about that blockchain technology the United States Postal Service had. Something is going to drop. Trump is not just going to continue this on to the election, have nothing implemented to make sure all this stuff is safe. But either way, we don't know if this coup is going to happen, but they are certainly, when I say they, I'm talking about everyone, military industrial complex, rhinos, Dems especially, military. They're forming think tanks to come up with scenarios already with social media as the mouthpieces for their agenda to make sure that everyone stays in line and no one's going to jump the gun on election night, and we're going to drag this out weeks, if not months, if we have to. So we need to be prepared. We need to get our souls right. We need to get prayed up, and we need to get spiritually right, and we need to be physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually ready to deal with what's going to be coming the next 2 months, because it's going to get heavier from here. The riots aren't going to stop. Black Lives Matter is not going to stop. Antifa is not going to stop. This is what they were waiting for. This is their moment to do as much damage as possible, and it's not going to stop. And we'll have to see what happens after the election. We'll have to see. Do I think there's going to be a decision? It depends what kind of technology, if any, is going to be rolled out on Trump's side to make sure the ballots are all counted on election night. I don't know. I hope to God it does not get carried out for weeks, because we know that is the Dems' opportunity time. And that's when Hillary Clinton was saying, we will not concede. We will send out Democrats to every state that Trump won and we'll make sure that the results are correct. We'll double, triple, quadruple check if we have to, because Trump's a big fat cheater, because him and the Russians teamed up last time and look what happened. Be on the lookout, guys. Brace yourselves and get ready for it just in case. We need to be ready, and we need to have our eyes on the prize. That's what we got. So, thank you guys for joining tonight. We hit 3,259 viewers so far. You guys are fantastic. We broke a record. All right. My max record is like 6,000. I don't plan on getting there anytime soon, but we'll have to see. So thank you guys for joining tonight. And before you head out, our eyes on the prize, go to my YouTube, like, share, subscribe, comment, tell your friends and family that We Are the News Now. Tell them about woke societies. This is a brand new channel. Been around for about a year and a half now, going on to year 2, but we're kicking ass out here. We're growing day by day. If you want, go to my Patreon. For my diehard fans, you can become a patron. You can donate $1 a month. It can be $12. It can be $17. It doesn't have to be these tiers. You get an extra live stream out of me every week. I'm thinking about maybe doing Friday nights for 2 extra live streams for my patrons. You can get that if you'd like. And of course, you guys see on my main page here, all my products. And when you go to the wokesocieties.com page, you'll see an option for shop, and you'll see all the beautiful brand new merch that we have here. All the Where We Go One, we go all attire, hoodies, V-necks, t-shirts, hooded t-shirts. We have water bottles, Yeti style water bottles. This is all products, high quality hats, glassware made by my brother and Bruce from ESO Creative out here in New York. And beautiful hats. The trucker hats, guys, they're top notch. So there's a whole bunch of stuff. Check it out on your way out in the merch store. That'd be fantastic. It's everything that you guys support here goes directly back to this channel. It's supporting local business, and it's allowing me to do this full time like I have been since June. And it's been, guys, it's just been a blessing since this whole journey started. So you guys were great. Let me know what you think of the episode in the comments. Tell your friends and family about this channel, and let's keep the ball going. We have a lot of work to do. We had a nice Labor Day break. I hope you all did as well. But we have a lot of work to do and a lot of minds to free. So do this final push to November 3rd. It's going to be great. It's going to be great. And thank you, mods. Thank you, mods, for coming in. We were short-staffed tonight, so I thank all the mods that were here. You guys were fantastic. You guys were fantastic, and everything that I'm seeing in this chat, the chat was sexy as hell, as it always, and the trolls do not live here in this chat. I can tell you that. I can tell you that much. So, as I always like to say, ladies and gentlemen, you'll see me tomorrow with Methods for our 2:30 show, and then another episode for me on Thursday, and we'll see what the week carries out from there. So, as I always say, ladies and gentlemen, stay safe, stay warm, and stay woke.